everybody. I'm not sure if you guys heard about this story. It's out in Ypsilanti. Ooh, I cannot pronounce that town, Ypsilanti Township. But I thought this would be a very good story to talk about because many of us, we enjoy social media. Let me see where this guy's from. Michigan, but he's in Ypsilanti, Michigan. He's in his 40s. He has a couple kids. He is a granddad. But he gained a lot of traction on Facebook. He would do these Facebook lives, and he had created this channel called Rails Corner on Facebook. And so he would go on this channel, Rails Corner, and he would talk all kinds of mess. And so, there's this question that we have to ask is freedom of speech dangerous, or do we have to use discretion in the things that we say? Is what he said considered free speech, or was it considered inciting violence? I think that was the question that we could ask about this particular gentleman. But he gained a lot of popularity. He had this Rails Corner Facebook channel, and he'd go on live and he would talk all kind of mess. For example, just January 5th, he had a live and he was, talking about some, I guess it was like a club they had the past weekend, and there were a lot of women there, and he was making jokes about the women, just made all kind of jokes about them, calling them all kinds of names, derogatory names, saying they, have STDs and all these things like that. And then he had a live where he was talking about a woman and her boyfriend, and it looks like, I guess, he had been posting videos of a man in the community who had got beat up. He was beat up pretty bad, and there's rumors around that this gentleman, Terrell, his name's Terrell Smith, who had passed away, but Terrell had been posting videos of the fight, making jokes about it. And I believe, if this is the same situation, because he had a bunch of incidents with people because of his content on Facebook, but the girlfriend became very irate and she started to defend him. The guy didn't really have much of, I mean, I guess the guy had an issue with Terrell, but didn't really say much. But the woman was really irate and angry, and she also messaged him threats. We'll go over those threats on his Facebook page. But he kind of, a lot of times he was getting all these threats and he'd make jokes about it. He'd just brush it off and say, whatever, you guys aren't going to do anything. I've seen you guys at gas stations and other public places, and you guys don't ever do anything about it. So it seemed as though the question that arose for this case for me was he exercising free speech, or was he inciting violence by making jokes about the people, telling them to come and do something, or basically saying they're not going to do anything and that he would beat them up? So there's one live, and I can't play the lives because there's cursing all over the thing, so I can't really I can't play it, but it's on his Facebook page, Terrell Smith, or you can go to Rails Corner, which is one of his pages. But on one of the lives, he's on a phone call and he's making fun of the woman who is taunting him because she's defending, I guess, her boyfriend. I guess there was a live he did, she didn't like it, so about her boyfriend, so she goes and defends him and threatens him, makes all these threats towards him, and he calls her all kind of names. I think he called her a German Shepherd looking something. He just he just totally, like, he just roasts people. It's kind of like he kind of roasts people pretty bad. He calls them all kinds of names. Like, for example, the live he did on January 5th, he was making fun of the women, saying they had STDs and that they don't shave down there. Just all kinds of stuff. Just kind of examples of the things that he says. So he says some pretty, pretty derogatory things. So, I mean, I encourage you guys to go to watch the lives if you want to know exactly the information, so you can make a accurate kind of opinion of what you think about this story. If you think he was just exercising free speech and people should be able to exercise their free speech without losing their life, or do you think that he incited violence, and instead of exercising free speech, he crossed the curve of provoking the individuals who end up taking his life to brutally shoot him? Either way, it wasn't justified. He should have never been murdered at all. But it's just a story I think we should talk about, because a lot of people have that saying, that our words don't really affect anyone. It doesn't really matter. But in this day and age, it's starting to see that mere words can cause people to act irrationally. And it's unacceptable that the people out here are so on edge. For example, I don't know if you guys heard about that recent story at Subway, I think in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, where there's two friends working at Subway. One of them accidentally put too much mayonnaise on this guy's sandwich and he gets irate. She offers to make him another sandwich and he says no. And so he's continuing to be irate. And so she asks him to leave. And he brutally murders her and, detrimentally injures the other lady in front of her 5-year-old child. So it's like people are on edge and they're just acting crazy and just doing crazy things for very small things. But I think this one we should talk about because it's concerning. It's really concerning because it makes you wonder, are you safe online? And how far should you go in your opinions online? Because there's just sick, irrational people out there who will take things you say, even if you're not intending to cause harm. This gentleman, I don't know, I think he kind of crossed the podium of being a little bit more than just giving an opinion. He was basically making fun of them, telling them they weren't going to do anything about their threats, basically, and kind of made fun of them and joked with them and stuff about them making threats towards him. Either way, people are acting very irrational nowadays. They're just out doing crazy things for just words. This man merely said words, and he had a pretty good channel. Also, another thing about him is he was a chef. He cooked pretty good. He wasn't like a proclaimed chef, but I mean, he cooked. He was a pretty good cook. He would make hamburgers and different things and egg rolls, and he would sell them in the community. And lots of people actually liked his food, and they would purchase his meals. So he was actually a pretty good cook. But anyways, let's just talk about this story because I find it very sad. Just it makes you wonder and makes you be more careful online that you may be thinking you're posting on your Facebook or YouTube or whatever you're posting on, but just merely giving your opinion, you don't know what irrational, sick, psycho person's out there watching your lives. And even if you think you're in the safety of whatever your social media is, there are people out there that get so crazy and irate over one little thing you say, they will find you. That's how sick these people are. They're mentally ill. You could be in Europe somewhere. They will track down your location and you won't even know, and they will find you and take your life. It's just this is the type of society we're living in, you guys, that people have lost their mind. It's scary. It's scary. And I'll talk a little bit about a woman who commented on this just to explain her story because she went through a similar situation. She commented on one of the YouTube videos for this gentleman to just warn people about social media and how dangerous it is, even, doing the YouTube thing. So anyway, man shot and killed on Facebook Live in Ypsilanti Township. Person that fired shots has not been located. So the background story of this was that this gentleman was on social media live when he was killed, and he was still talking, saying different things on the social media live on Tuesday of this week. And he was saying, you guys who leave Ypsilanti think you're better than us, but you're not. And he was just more so proclaiming his pride for being in Ypsilanti. And then someone on the live started threatening him during the live on Tuesday. And they were saying, oh, I'm going to, take you out. Basically, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to shoot you, all these things, right? And the guy was like saying, I have 100 rounds ready for you, or whatever he was saying while this man here, Terrell, was doing his live. He was getting someone in his chat threatening him. And so again, Terrell, he didn't take any of the threats seriously. Again, he was getting so many threats from people. He didn't take this one seriously either. He just laughed it off and said, oh, whatever, come over here, fight me. I don't care how many shots you have. Bring it on, basically. That wasn't his exact words, guys, but he was basically essentially saying that, like, bring it on, come to my location. So while he's outside, a car pulls up, and then Terrell gets up and says, oh, look, we got action. And very sadly, whoever was in that car, they're saying 2 people came out of the vehicle, shot him at most 30 times. 30 times. It's so sad. And up until his death, he never took any of the many threats that were coming towards him from different people, women, men, all kinds of people. He never took any of it seriously, even to the day that he passed away. It's so sad because this man is a grandfather. He has one grandchild and he has children, and his mom is pretty distraught as well. But let's just read a little bit more. Ypsilanti Township in Michigan. A deadly shooting captured on Facebook Live has left the Ypsilanti Township stunned, and a lot of people who are his fans are pretty sad. The victim had become somewhat of a local celebrity because of his live feeds. And basically on his live feeds, he just does a lot of profanity and cursing and making fun of people. So I can't play it on here. I wish I could so you can kind of see what I'm saying, but you have to watch it for yourself. Terrell Smith was on his Facebook Live talking to the camera. He began to get into a heated exchange with someone who was talking, making comments as he was going live. Minutes later, someone drove up to his house in Ypsilanti where more than 30 shots, you guys, 30 shots were fired. He was 46 years old. Ypsilanti was flooded with sadness, heartache, tributes Wednesday for Smith, who was a local Facebook celebrity. Smith was known as a friend for the food he made, so he would sell a lot of his food and often gave away. He was known for his love and support of Ypsilanti, its people, and for his lively, brutally honest Facebook Live appearances called Rail's Corner. And I'm telling you, they were pretty full of a lot of profanity and just, On Tuesday, Smith took to Facebook Live for another edition of Rail's Corner and expressed his loyalty to Ypsilanti. What makes y'all think because you moved that you're better than Ypsilanti? That's what he was saying on live. You're all a product of Ypsilanti, or Yipsy. He calls it Yipsy. I kept thinking he was saying Nipsey, like Nipsey Hussle, but he was saying Yipsy. Smith soon after started exchanging words with someone who was commenting on his Facebook Live, making threats. And then he said, now you're on here saying you are riding around with 60 shots. So the man who took his life, they said they were in his chat telling him that they were riding around with 60 shots. And Terrell, instead of taking it seriously, this was a message on his page, he laughed it off on the live and just kept sitting outside in a chair. I think at that point he should have gotten the house or at least tried to protect himself or something, get away from the situation. But he just said, now you're on here saying you're riding around with 60 shots. That's what Terrell Smith said. He said, I don't care if you have 100 shots, bro. So again, he just taunting the guy saying, I don't care what you have. I don't care if you have 100. I don't care. Thousands of people were watching Rail's Corner. They were watching him during the incident, you guys, and were horrified by what happened next. So they're watching it during the live. Smith sees a car approaching and someone gets out. And this is all on the live. And then Smith says, again, joking around, he says, oh, we got action. Smith said, we got action. Some people say that on the video, and the video was already taken off of Facebook, so I can't watch it, but somebody said that when they watched the live, the man who was shooting, the two men, one of the men said, he said, no, we got silence, bro. So it looks like they said that he responded back to Terrell, one of the guys did, and said that, and then started shooting. Soon after shots were fired, Smith was shot and killed. So sad. The shooting was not seen on camera. A neighbor can be heard in the video player above frantically calling 911. Someone got shot. That was the neighbor. And then the horrifying video was seen 37,000 times, you guys. People kept watching it all Tuesday, I think even Wednesday, until finally Facebook was alerted and then they took it down. The person that fired the shots have not been located, but they're going to definitely be able to track him down because he was posting on Terrell Smith's live before the incident happened. And there's many messages that, like I said, Terrell received. And we're going to go over some of his Facebook. So this is his Facebook. Let's talk about some of his food before we get into stuff. But he cooked different food and he would sell it. Like here's one of his things. He liked to make egg rolls in different kinds. Like he'd make hamburger, steak, all kinds, and he would sell 3 for about $5. So that's his little comment saying, got them egg rolls starting at 5 p.m. Hit me up, and 3 for $5. So he didn't really charge much for the food that he made. He'd make hamburgers. He was pretty good cook. This is one of his other things that he made. So he's pretty good. He's pretty good at cooking. I think that even has an egg in it. He went deep on this hamburger. But anyway, so here's a comment from one of the friends that I guess she was a fan that used to watch his Facebook Live. It's a lot of profanity, guys, so I can't read the cuss words. But but essentially, let's just read a little bit of it. I'm not going to read all of it because she just curses all over the place. She says, Facebook comedian, y'all saying social media bully? Why? She says he was a comedian, but if you watch some of his lives, it sounded to me, I'm just going to give my opinion because I watched some of it. It sounded like he was roasting people pretty bad. Like he called the girl a German shepherd looking sick something, like all kind of names, and he was making fun of her because she had lupus and saying that she was some sick woman and all these things. But he was saying curse words. I'm not, of course I'm not going to say everything he said. And then when he went on one live, he was talking really bad about the women at the club, saying they look like they all had STDs and they smell bad and all these things. It didn't seem like it was a comedian, even though some of the things you could think it's funny. When you look at the overall context, you're like, this is kind of messed up. He should be saying these things. But, he's being funny, but at the same time, sometimes when this draws attention, it could draw the wrong attention to you. People are sick out there. They're irrational. They clearly, words do affect people clearly. And so it's sad to say, guys, that social media is it's not safe. It's not safe. We have all these lives we can do, Facebook, live, Instagram live, YouTube, all these things. But it's not safe because the thing is, everyone can watch your material. Everyone can watch your video. So you don't know who's watching your video. It could be somebody all the way in New York and you're all the way in, I don't know, let's pick a random place, Texas, right? You're all the way in Texas and they're in New York and they watch your live and you say one sentence that ticks them off and now they're finding your location, come to your house and end your life like they did Terrell. It's just the people out here are crazy. So she says he's a Facebook comedian. You guys have to be the person to give your opinion once you watch his videos. I'm just saying, tell me what you think. I don't know. I can't play it because it's just too many curse words. He said, y'all saying social media bully. Why? Because he said the SHIT nobody else wanted to say. That sounds familiar. You know what he said? That sounds like Kevin Samuel. Everybody, we did a lot of the things that Kevin Samuel said was horrible. And he bashed a lot of Black women and just was terrible to people. And rightfully so, a lot of women didn't like what he said. Rightfully so. He got a lot of controversy. And that's the problem. We always make excuses for people like that and say, oh, he just said what nobody else wanted to say, but it's the truth. But look, this man out here, Terrell Smith, was speaking allegedly his truth and ended up, these sick people came after him and took his life. It's just sad. But she said because he said it with his chest, because he talked about SHIT that y'all talked about to yourselves, amongst yourselves, y'all friends and family. And that's probably true. And that's probably why they talk about it amongst themselves, because they don't feel safe going online, unfortunately, because there's sick, irrational people out there who threaten them and take their life like they did this gentleman here. It's just sad. He said he brought it to a platform and spoke facts. Where was the lies? Wasn't true. You same mother effers on here talking all this stuff. Okay, sorry guys, I can't keep reading this. She is this is way too much profanity. So if you guys want to read that, you guys have to go on his page, Terrell Smith, and find it yourself because I can't. I want to play this video, but it has the shot sound, and I don't think we can have it on YouTube. But basically, this is a part of the live. This guy played it on the radio station, and then after that, there's like 30 shots on sounds, and he played it on the radio station. I don't know why he did that, but it's sad. So people are just giving their condolences. This is the gentleman here. Pretty sad. But let's try to get to the part where there was some messages about the threats, because this man had a lot of threats leading up to this tragedy. Let me see where I could find it. It was at least the one I found recently. So here's some of the stuff he cooks, and then he like posts when he's gonna sell it. So he makes corned beef, steak, chicken, and hamburger, egg rolls, and he makes all kinds of stuff though. It's not just that. That's one of his meals that he makes. So he just does a variety of things to try to make a living, pretty much, out in Yipsy. This is some of the other meals that he makes. So hamburgers, it looks like a chicken sandwich there. Um, I think that's a salad. He's pretty good at what he does. Let's see the menu just real quick. Sorry, guys, I'm getting sidetracked. But he makes lamb chops, salads or fries. He wings, bones and boneless, 10 pieces of wings, fried or sauce, barbecue, salads, burgers, slider burgers. He makes, man, this man might as well might as well have had a restaurant. Cheesesteak, chicken and cheese hoagies, chicken strips. Wow, he had a full menu, you guys. That's crazy. And he didn't charge that much, like 15 bucks for a meal or whatever, eight bucks, 12 bucks. 12 bucks. And that was some of the things he'd make. Sorry, guys, I'm getting sidetracked. I just thought that was kind of cool that he was a cook as well. Corned beef. I mean, he can make it all. He's pretty versatile in the stuff that he could make. Wings, dinners, lamb chops. Like we talked about that before. But look, guys, this guy's pretty talented. So that's what his grandson. He had a grandson. But I'm trying to find, getting down to the part where he was getting threats. He posted some of the threats online. Here it is. Wait, is this it? Oh, so this part kind of reminds me of the Nipsey Hussle case, because apparently he posted this saying some guy was being a rat. You guys know what that is. Someone that is talking to the police authorities. And he exposed this on his Facebook. And this is some of the stuff he would do. He would expose who the person was, who's accused of being the rat or whatever. And that's kind of dangerous, because then now whoever is on this, I'm not going to put the name up there, but that causes that person to become angry, irate, want to end the person's life. So this is kind of an example of some of the things he would do. He would post when people are accused of being rats. He'd make, post videos of people getting beat up. Like I said, I think people are accusing, and they think that the person that took his life was the man who was beat up, basically. He posted a video of him being beat up, and then they think that's the person that ended up taking him out, basically. But there were so many people that were threatening this guy. It's just crazy. But here's some of the threats that were made to him back in May. Let me see what date this was. Was this May? May 13th. May 13th. So first, the person, these are two different people. The first person here that was threatening him tried to call him twice. And then they said, "Call me ASAP. We meet at your mom's house." And then he responded, "At your mom's house?" So like he's just joking back with them, about, them basically trying to threaten, they want to come and fight him or whatever, or take his life, basically. And they're saying, "We're going to come meet at your mom's house to handle this." And he's like, "Oh, meet at your mom's house?" Kind of joking with them, instead of taking the thing seriously and say, "Oh, maybe I should be more careful." It's just like, no, he's taunting the people. And then there's a second person. And this is interesting, you guys, because these two people are women. These aren't men that are threatening him. For these two threats, these are two women, which is odd. Two women threatening a man. But anyways, this other woman said, "I'm on your ASS. There is no peace. You gonna have pull the gangsta SHIT. You've been talking. Now watch, pay attention." And then he says, "BITCH, you can meet at Ford's store. Actually, that's too close to police. Come down Michigan Ave." So, wait, no. Sorry, guys. This is all her. He didn't reply. He just gave a little thumbs up. Sorry, guys. I'm misreading it. So she says all this, "I'm on your ASS. There's no peace. You're going to have to pull the gangsta SHIT. You've been talking. Now watch your attention." So this part she's saying is the gangsta SHIT, you be talking. So yeah, on his channel, Rails Corner, he does do a lot of taunting and says, "I'll beat he talks about the people who are trying to fight him. And then he says, "Man, I'll beat the ASSS," and all this stuff. Like just saying how if they even try to run up on him, he would beat them up or whatever. They're not going to step to him. Even if they have in the past seen him in, public places, they've never stepped to him. So that's kind of the context, I wanted to show you in relation to why she is saying this, is that basically you're talking all this mess on live. Let's see if you're about what you say. And it's just kind of odd again, guys, that this is a woman threatening a man. But anyway, I don't know. She says, "Now watch, pay attention." Then she says, "BITCH, you can meet at Ford store." Actually, that's too close to police, come down, Michigan. So she's trying to fight a man. She's trying to get him to meet up to fight a man, which is, I don't understand it. And there's people in the comments that are saying, telling Terrell that I don't know if you should be posting this. It's probably not a good idea. And as he's posting it, one of the woman here on the right, she is continually commenting and responding to different people. So here's one of his lives. But again, guys, I can't post it. I want to, but it's just too many curse words. Too many curse words, guys. But on this live, I think this is the live. Yeah, I think this is the live where he is talking to someone on the phone about a woman who keeps threatening him and keeps taunting him because he was making fun of her man. So he was making fun of her man. She gets mad trying to defend her man and makes threats towards him, right? And then so on this live, he starts making fun of her, calling her a German Shepherd looking sick, HI, all kinds of names. He just went in on her, calling her all kinds of names and stuff. And then he's like, your man's not even trying to threaten me, yet you're trying to threaten me, basically. He's like, I'll beat you, I'll beat both of you up, whatever. That's how he's talking on this whole live. See, he's on the phone right now saying all these things to his friend while he's on the live. People are laughing in the chat. But this is kind of like an example of some of the content that he put on his page. So in summary, it appears as though he was, making jokes about people who were beat up and stuff. And then when they would threaten him, he would basically taunt them and say, oh, you're not going to do anything about it. Even when you see me in the streets, you don't do anything, I'll beat you up. So that's essentially what this whole thing is about. It just seems as though these people were thinking he was taunting them. And he was basically telling them that they weren't going to do anything. And so sadly, allegedly, this is what led up to the tragedy back this Tuesday of him being brutally, and it's so sad, he was brutally taken out. So sad. I mean, he was shot 30 times, you guys. 30 times. And just the sad part about it is, up until his death, he never took it seriously. He never took the threat seriously. He just laughed it off, taunted people, said, you guys aren't going to do anything about it, woo, 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 right? But here is his page. It's called Rails Corner. And on this page, he basically goes live. He has gained all kind of traction in Michigan. People always used to come on his channel. This is some of the food, again, he makes. But he posts his food, his menus, but he goes on these lives. And throughout the lives, he just makes fun of people, calls people names, uses a lot of profanity. And sadly, it led to his death. So it just comes down to the question of how safe are we on social media? How far should you go? Should you monitor and be careful and censor the things that you say? And also, you should be careful to take people's threats seriously too. So let's just bring it back to this. We're going to go to on one of his videos on the news, one of the news stations' coverage of this. But I thought it was pretty interesting. There was a woman in one of the YouTube videos, and I thought her story was interesting. And she said she believes she knows what happens because it happened to her. That, for example, she was on her Facebook Live and she was commenting and giving her opinions about a case that she wanted to help solve. That, this woman had been brutally taken out, basically unalived, and she wanted to help solve the case. And so she was trying to post her opinion about it. Well, unfortunately, somebody didn't like the stuff that she was saying. And so they started threatening her. They started doxing her information. They found out where she lived, all these things. And she said from that situation, she became so terrified, she deleted all of her whole entire page, just deleted everything. And she said it brought her to this lesson of, nowadays, we're not safe online. We're not safe on social media. You could say one little thing and it could have someone irrationally, act crazy. Like what happened to this man. Just take this man out, this 46-year-old man out, and now his kids don't have a father and his grandkids do not have a grandfather. So let's just listen to this news report to get some more details.
What I have right here is every single paycheck that I have collected from Audible since 2019. Okay, right here.
And it's a murder streamed online for all to see. An argument on Facebook Live goes from heated to deadly.
And we begin in Ypsilanti, where that deadly shooting captured on Facebook Live has left the community stunned. The victim had become somewhat of a local celebrity because of those live feeds.
Yesterday, that all came to an abrupt and tragic end. Sean Lay live with this story tonight with more on what escalated all this. Sean.
Let's talk about that escalation, Devin. Terrell Smith was on his Facebook Live talking to the camera. He was in a heated exchange with someone who was making comments as he was going live. Minutes later, someone drove right up to his house in Ypsilanti. More than 30 shots were fired. Facebook flooded with sadness, heartache, and tributes today for this man, Terrell Smith of Ypsilanti, a local Facebook celebrity. Smith was also known for his brutally honest Facebook Live appearances called Rell's Corner. Tuesday, Smith took to Facebook Live for another edition, at first expressing his loyalty to Ypsilanti.
What make y'all think, because y'all moved, that y'all better than Ipsy? Y'all ain't better than Ipsy, y'all a product of Ipsy.
Then Smith exchanging words with someone who was commenting on his Facebook Live and making threats.
Now you on Facebook, I'm riding around with 60 shots. I don't ride around with 100 shots, bro.
Thousands were watching and were horrified by what happened next. Smith sees a car approach and sees someone get out.
Okay, we got action. We got action.
Smith was shot and killed. The shooting is not seen on camera, but we will warn you. Just the sound of gun violence is disturbing enough. We will only play a moment of the 30 rapid-fire shots. A neighbor can be heard frantically calling 911.
Somebody been shot.
The horrifying video seen 37,000 times before Facebook was alerted and took it down. And tonight, Facebook says when awful things like this occur on a Facebook Live, they do try to take it off Facebook as quickly as possible. Again, that video is no longer seen on Facebook. The person firing those shots is still out there tonight. Kimberly, Devin.
Boy. So where does this investigation stand now, Sean?
Like I say, suspect not in custody as of yet. The Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office is investigating, and they are working with that video to try to make the connection of who shot Mr. Smith.
Yeah, we will stay on it. All right, Sean.
So let's hear.
Terrell Smith loved to use Facebook Live to reach people. And
So we're gonna hear from the mom now. She gives a slight little detail of what she thinks happened, but this story should really be a cautionary tale for us all. It's very sad and unfortunate that we live in a society where, you know, we are given somewhat a lot of freedoms that other countries aren't. For example, freedom of speech. But with those freedoms have very detrimental, extreme consequences where there's sick, irrational people out there who, you know, just the mere words that you say can cause people to act irrationally. Now, in this case, I do think Terrell Smith did cross the line in that he was taunting the people that were threatening him, basically encouraging them to come to his place, saying, you know, I don't care if you have 100 shots. And he kind of would do that in his different lives, like, oh man, you guys don't ever do anything when you see me, stuff like that. So he kind of took it a little bit past, you know, just freedom of speech. But still, this is a cautionary tale of we have to be careful, sadly, with social media now. It's sad because people are crazy. People will go to the extreme of you just having an opinion. For example, with the whole Kevin Samuels thing, you know, I, along with a lot of other social media people, just had a mere opinion. And there were people making threats to our life just because we had an opinion. It's that crazy. People are psycho. And they lose their mind over words. So words, unfortunately, can cost you your life. Mere words. So let's hear a little bit more details about what the mother has to say. This news report is going to go into some of the things the mother has to say.
and make them laugh, but everyone did not find his humor and messages to be funny.
I'm the president of Ypsilanti, Michigan. Terrell was a comedian. He disrespected people, okay? They got mad. But this is nothing compared. Words can't kill you, but a gun can. Okay, we got.
So that's his mother. Let's just go back to the beginning. But that's his mother.
Terrell Smith loved to use Facebook Live to reach people and make them laugh, but everyone did not find his humor and messages to be funny.
I'm the president of Escalation, Michigan. Terrell was a comedian. He disrespected people, okay? They got mad. But this is nothing compared. Words can't kill you, but a gun can.
Okay, we got action. We got action.
That's the sound of gunshots as Terrell did a Facebook Live from this chair outside his family's Ypsilanti home on Tuesday. That Facebook Live would be his last one.
Two gunmen got out, shot at Real, killed Real.
Terrell's mother says it was all allegedly over the comedian making fun of a video of someone getting beat down.
But my son put up a video of her son, or the boy getting knocked out. A lot of people didn't like Real. So what? People cannot kill people for talking.
But this family says that's exactly what went down.
A family was mad at Terrell. They got on live saying they was coming over here to slap me and kill him.
Fox 2 reached out to the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office, and they say they are actively investigating the shooting near Nash and Tyler as the search for those responsible continues. This heartbroken family wants justice, and they want anyone responsible for this crime to turn themselves in.
I know who did it. They should know who did it. Everybody who watched it live should know who did it. You killed him in the broad daylight at 11 o'clock, so evidently you want to pay for your crime.
And this mom hopes justice will come soon.
God got the last say. But right now the devil came, but he done took my son. I just want justice. I know the police got to do their job, but I'm praying.
In Ypsilanti, Ingrid Kelly.
So the thing is, too, this man had a lot of people threatening him. So I thought it was the girlfriend, but apparently the fight incident, the mother was mad about him posting a video about a man getting beat up. So there was a separate incident, though, with him talking about another man, and the girlfriend was defending him. As you guys could see that other, well, I couldn't play the live, sorry, but on the live, if you play the live, then you'll hear the context of him talking about a woman threatening him over something he said about her boyfriend. So there were different people who didn't like what he had to say. Other people thought it was funny, but he had a lot of people threatening him. So that's going to be kind of the challenge for law enforcement to try to figure out, okay, which person who did this, because there were multiple people making threats against him. But it's just very sad. I just think this is the story we should talk about, and I would like to hear your opinion, because it just really does raise concerns about free speech now online, on social media. You know, what precautions you think we could take? Do you think this gentleman was just exercising his free speech, or do you think he crossed the line? What do you think about this whole situation? Isn't this crazy? Hi, Ellen. Hi, sweetie. But isn't that crazy, Ellen? Isn't it? This is crazy. This story just made me so sad that this man, he gains all this traction on Facebook Live, has, creates this Rails Corner page. Lots of people start watching him. And he says some things that hurt some people's feelings, and now he's dead. It's just crazy. This story's crazy. But I would like to hear you guys' take on it. What can we learn from this situation? What can we take from this? It's just very scary, because you don't know what you're saying could tick somebody off. People are that irrational. You don't know what you can say can make somebody go crazy and just try to end your life. And it doesn't matter where you are in this world or whatever, they'll try to find you. And there's ways to find you. It's just, people are sick. It's sad. May Mr. Smith rest in peace. It's just a horrible way to die. And just be safe out there, guys, and use your discretion. And apparently, although we live in a country that has free speech, got to be careful, because there's sick people out there who don't like you exercising that free speech. All right.